we're going to do a reaction video. And we're going to take a listen to this performer perform a piece that I've been working on. And we're going to critique it. Say the good things, say the bad things, things we liked, things we didn't like, things that this person could improve on. And go from, I should probably speak further away from the mic. I'm getting a little pop when I say those harsh, percussive consonances. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this video. Well, wait, is that? No, no, this, look, there's a guitar case there. No guitar case. No guitar case. Guitar case. For a second there, I was kind of like, what? That looks just like me. So we're just going to, like I said, critique it so that you guys can get an idea of what I'm hearing, of what I'm listening to, and yeah, just my perspective. So here we go. Scherzino Mexicano by Manuel Maria Ponce. Okay, already. Good thing. When I was about to get to it, I took a second, I breathed, probably exhaled, got my mind ready, even though it's only 3 to 5 seconds, it was absolutely crucial that I did that. I listened to the piece in my head, get the tempo, clear my mind from everything else, and then I go. Notice I breathed as I started. Okay, so that's also a very good thing, because it means my breath, my body is a part of the music. I've sort of melded. In a sense, you sort of become a part of the music. Listen again. Okay, there was like 4 or 5 mistakes there. Let's count them. Squeak, as a big squeak. Completely unnecessary. I need to get rid of that. A flub note. Bum, 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 bum. Let me get the right pitch. Da, 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 da. It's a little flub there. A buzz on that particular part right there. There's a buzz there. Where is that buzz coming from, though? I think it's over here somewhere. But there's a buzz there. So that's already mistake number 3. You could say mistake number 4 is the disconnect on the shift. There's a big gap during the shift, and that needs to be minimized. Right there. Bum, bum. That needs to be more connected. So the shift needs to be obviously cleaner because there's a buzz when I land it, and quicker because there's a gap. So basically I need to be better is what I'm trying to tell you. Tomorrow is my exam, and instead of studying, I'm watching your stream. Well, thank you, Hanu. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully you learned something. Here we go. That phrase was actually pretty good. Could it have been cleaner? Yes. It wasn't pristine, but it was good. That's really bad. Did you guys hear that? That glissando? That's completely unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Okay, that's just laziness on my part. I'm not lifting my fingers. Okay, well, there's one mistake I can point out. When I play that, there was some sloppiness there. It's right on that chord that you see. Yeah. I missed a bass note there. Bum, bum, bum. There's a bass note. Bum, bum, bass note. That was good. Dum, dum, bum. That was good. It was a night. It was going down. It was dynamically getting softer and softer. That's the bass. There's another bass note, I think. Is this the same part? Yeah, bass note. There should be a bass note. Dun, 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 ba-da-dum. There should be a bass note. So it's already the second bass note? You hear that sloppiness? All that extra noise? I think I touched one of the bass strings. It might have been the 5th string. I played the string, and then when I was shifting my hand, my finger sort of grazed it, and that's why you get that that shimmer sloppiness there. Okay, so all the notes are right, but every shift is disconnected from the other. Every chord is disconnected from the other because of the shifts. Because the shifts are not, they're just not good enough. It's like dun 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 dun. What's like da 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 dum. That's another mistake. There's a scratch when I play that 5th string. I'm scratching the 5th string with my nail, and I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, I'm hearing not just the note, but I'm hearing the traveling that my nail is doing across the string when I pluck the 5th string. Same mistake twice in a row. So that right there is a big deal. So if you're making mistakes like that, you need to go in there and fix them. Okay, that was pretty clean. Better than the first time through. That's the 3rd time. Same exact spot, same exact shape, same exact mistake. A buzz on the shift. Okay, very good. So the second time around was definitely a lot cleaner. I didn't hear anything that stuck out except for the shifting. The shifts need a lot of work. They're very partitioned. Done. The chords, done, and then this one, and then this one, and it's got to be connected. That's something I need to work on. But there was no buzz. There were no incorrect notes. Otherwise, it was good. Let's listen back. Same thing. There's that. That's actually difficult. That I was aware of at the time. It's not this. It sounds like I'm breathing in the middle of those three notes. But it's got to be. But that's not what you're hearing. Because of how I'm using my fingers there, it's not that easy, at least not for me, but I already knew that was a problem when I was playing this. You know what? Let's go back and hear it all as a single thing. Guys, when you're performing, do not do what I just did. So what did I do? I played a wrong note, I reset, took a few steps back, and I did it again. That's a big no-no. So that is a clear indication that I don't have it. I'm not extremely familiar with it enough to continue through an obviously wrong note. What you want to do in a situation like this is you want to pretend that you just played the right note and continue on. What I did is I stopped and I did it again. That's like it's beginning. That chord also is a little unclear. You hear the attack, it's not even. It's not even. There's like some kind of slap in there. I think it might have been one of my nails catching. And so I'm plucking the string kind of awkwardly. And it's a little bit late and it's a little bit loud. And so it's sticking out. Where everything else is even, we got this. There's a visual of the audio. Big no-no. There's a descending chromatic line. There's two of them, on the top and the bottom. I would like to be able to connect those so you hear very clearly. Da, 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 da. Some of them are kind of impossible because of all of the other notes that I'm playing. But I think I could do a better job of giving off the illusion that everything is connected. So I'm going to listen back, listen to the chromatic descending lines, and see how connected or disconnected they are. Yeah, the last four in the top, in the bottom, sorry, the last four, bottom is over here. In the last four in the bottom voice, they're very separated. Listen again. Here. Yeah. The second half, the bottom voice again, some of them are disconnected. The top voice, the notes that I'm playing on the first string, those are all pretty connected. But the bottom voice, da, 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 da. I'm not sure if those are the right pitches, but the top voice, it's a response to all of those chromatic runs in the bottom voice. Those are all pretty good. So let's listen to the top voice. Right here. Rhythmically, it's a little different, so it's throwing me off, but those are good. All right, let's continue. Did you guys hear that? That big gap, those chords have to be connected. That's just technical errors that need to be cleaned. I need to play that slower and more often. And what I could do is figure out why that happens. And this is, I made a post about it a couple days ago, midweek, last week. Practicing is just problem solving. So if you think of it that way, just by thinking of it that way, the way you practice is going to ultimately change, because you're not just mindlessly repeating, right? Because you're trying to solve a problem. Like, okay, this sounds bad. Let me just play it again. Versus, okay, this sounds bad. Why does it sound so bad? What's going on? And all of a sudden you start thinking, and all the gears in here, they start turning. And so you start coming up with some solutions. If there's anything to take away from this video, it's that practicing is problem solving. You need to think. When I shift over to up here, I landed it, but I think I'm tense because I'm applying a lot of pressure and my string is going out of tune. Not because the tension is relaxing on the string itself and the tuning machines. It's because I'm pressing down too hard. So it sounds like I'm out of tune, but I'm not. That that pitch is out of tune. And that's, I believe, a direct result of just the tension. Oh my goodness, I gotta get here in time. It's gotta be clean. It's gotta be connected. So, you just tense up. So that needs to be fixed. Okay, big gap there, but I mean, you got to cut me some slack. That's a pretty, hard change there. Look at my hand between this, here, see, from there to there. That's not easy. I could probably do a better job with the dynamics. Bum, bum, bum. And then it goes bum, 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 whatever those pitches are. I'm probably not seeing it in tune, but that should probably be louder. Bum, bum, bum. Even bigger. Dum, dum. That's just one approach. That's one approach. You could do the opposite. You could start bum, 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 bum. You could do that too. As long as it makes sense to you and you can make it work and you can sell it, then kudos to you. The problem is when you get to that first chord, it already sounds like it's getting bigger. So I think I just got too big initially and then I couldn't climb from there. There was no more room for me to get louder. So maybe I should back off on that first chord, attempt to make it sound big without me actually getting big. So how would I do that? Everything before that can be lower so that when I do get louder, it's you're deceiving the ears. Favorite guitar player? I'm looking at your profile. Sasha? No. Lux. That's Lux. How you doing, man? Am I right? I hope I'm right. Yes, I was. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, man. Okay, so let's continue. That's just a technical flub, just a dirty transition. Excuse me, that extra string noise. There's something missing. You know what? I could probably play around with tone. You know, get a little bit more Ponticello as the tension increases. I could do that. So that's a possibility. All of those F sharps, I think they're F sharps. Not too bad. That's so funny. I very nonchalantly just kind of, all right, here we go. Let's just play again. That was kind of funny. Watch that. I sort of readjust. That kind of threw me off. And as an audience member, I think that would throw everybody off too. So I probably shouldn't do that. I sort of break character. You know, I'm kind of, all right. So don't do that. I heard being in a suit makes you play better. It doesn't make you play better, but the people watching you take you more seriously, and there's a perception that you're playing better. So there's that. All right, watch again, because I'm all into it, and then I just readjust myself, and I shouldn't be doing that. That was good. That's the first time that I did that. This is the third time this has been played, that section. But it's the first time that I did it cleanly. So maybe I just needed to warm up more. But there's still a gap on the shift. I've been doing a good job with the dampening on the bass notes. So that's good. Do you ever use a pick for classical? No. that's very clean. Very clean. That sounded incorrect in terms of rhythm. I think I was trying to execute some kind of rubato, toying around with the push and the pull of the tempo, but it didn't work out. Did you hear that extra noise right there? The third string. I graze the third string. Listen. I got to get rid of that. That bothers the heck out of me. That on that last note. Listen again. It's that chord. Couldn't get it. Okay. This is a great example. I was getting flustered with all of the mistakes I was making. And if you notice, on that mistake, I made a face. I reacted. I reacted to my poor playing. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Because the vast majority of the mistakes you make are forgivable. No one's going to mind. The fact that you're there, you're putting yourself out there, you're, providing music, you're providing this, to a lot of people, otherworldly, magical thing. They're just there to enjoy it, right? So when I make that face, when anybody makes that face, you're sort of putting that onto the listener. And so they become, even subconsciously, unconsciously, displeased with the performance in the same way you are. It's like this Jedi mind trick. You shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be doing that. That's a big no-no. That scratch. There's another reaction there. I missed that the first time. You could see me grin. I think that's what caused the reaction later on, the next couple of seconds. Because it was like back-to-back mistakes, obvious mistakes. That one too. And then finally, the nod. But there's a lot of mistakes there. Let's count them. Five mistakes, kind of back to back to back. And then that was my breaking point. I was like, okay, this is trash. But I kept going because you need to keep going. This is the important part of practicing a performance. Sorry, hopefully that wasn't too loud. You got to do it. You got to get through. Right? What's that saying? The only way out is through. You got to just keep going. This one had its fair share of mistakes the second time around, but I think overall it was better. But leading up to it, yeah, that was pretty bad. Pretty bad. Gecko, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Okay. The accompaniment, there was one particular point where the accompaniment was just way too loud. See if you can find it. All pointed out. Hear that? That too much. But these are the things that I listen for, and like that's part of the problem with classical is it's everything's got to be in the right spot. It's very perfectionist sort of, deal. Are you on Spotify? Yeah, I'm on Spotify. No classical. It's all stuff I've written in the past. So it's some of it's electronic, some of it's animation, music for animated videos and video game music. But you can look it up. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube Music, Apple Music. It's all there. I have more that I need to release, but that's a good chunk of it. I feel like I rushed all of those F sharps the second time. Give each one its own moment to shine. Dun, 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 dun. Same thing. I'm readjusting. Big gap there. Bum, bum, bum. Shouldn't be like that. So, thank you, Scrabblebees. Appreciate it. Looking, yeah. These are the Sunday performances. I think I'm going to make this a thing. I'm just going to critique my own playing from time to time. A lot of mistakes there. Ba-da-da. Not very clean. And then there's a buzz before that, so that's got to be cleaned up as well. Okay. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just went with it and then just finished it off. Because in this particular part of the piece, the last 4 bars, there's a slight variation in the harmonies, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it here. But instead of just continuing onward, I even made an audible noise. I went, and then I correct myself. That's the same thing that happened earlier. Can't do that. You can't correct. You just continue. Listen again. Nice ending there. I definitely play the chord nice and balanced and even at the end. Nice and gentle. Nice, soft landing. It wasn't too bad, but there are a lot of mistakes in there that I already know I should not be making, like the big ones, saying, restarting a particular section, correcting. Those are the big ones. Some of the technical ones, I mean, they're going to be there. right? You want to do your best to avoid them, but they're inherently unavoidable. No one's perfect, right? Even if no one else hears the mistakes, there's probably a couple in there that you will hear and beat yourself up over. But yeah, whoever this guy is, he's all right. I mean, definitely needs a lot of work, but I know it looks like my room, but that's definitely not me because I don't have a guitar case in front of the amp there. So, but yeah. Basically, I need to be better, is what I'm trying to tell you.